I am this weird amalgamation of like genders and vibes and essence and just being that I literally cannot define.
First of all, clean your nails. I couldn't even start commenting on this video without pointing that out because I have a thing with hands. Second of all, why do they always look like this? I know that's like a running meme and a running joke among the conservative community, but it's the truth.
Other, like, majority of the time, I'm just a void. Like, there's nothing there. There's just an absence, and I don't know how else to describe it.
Much like the space behind your eyes.
Every once in a while, and I don't know where it comes from, but I'll just be thrust back into a binary. I'll just be sitting there chilling, enjoying my life, and then all of a sudden I'm a man?
I mean, I was just sitting, minding my own business, being in my lesbian sex education era when wham! Woke activists became homophobic, sexist, and racist. Like, actually all those three things. And here we are. Welcome to my channel. My friend Blair White said, at this point, someone needs to study the connection between colored hair and narcissism. Yeah. Let's. Welcome to another psychological deep dive. Again, the ongoing joke between non-leftists on platforms like X and Twitter and TikTok is, why do they always look like this? But has anyone actually taken the time to decipher why this happens? Just before we get into the why, let's get into the who, just to be specific about who we're talking about here. They usually have at least one, if not all five, of these brand identifiers. 1, colorful hair. 2, a piercing, usually a septum piercing, a face piercing. 3, an ugly haircut. 4, ugly makeup. 5, usually, but not always, but usually white. Honestly, watching some of these videos makes me feel like I am on another planet, or at least these people are on another planet, and not in a good way, like our sponsor, Galaxy Lamps. It will transform any room in your house to look like a planetarium. But not only that, it is also a smart device. Let's take a look at some of the features. First of all, its colors, brightness, rotation speed, on and off timers, and many more are fully customizable. Just grab your phone. With the app, you can change everything and make it truly yours. If you love using Alexa or Google Assistant, the Galaxy Projector is right there with it. All you gotta do is say the word and it will obey you. And it is also energy efficient. You can enjoy your own personal Galaxy without worrying about the electricity bill skyrocketing, pun intended. If you wanna check them out, you can click the link in the description below and use discount code Ariel for 15% off. Make sure you support brands and companies that support our message and your beliefs. Now, a brief history. People in groups have been dressing, acting, looking, and even sounding alike since the beginning of time, right? Sometimes it is a class hierarchy system. For example, peasants would dress similarly, knights would dress similarly, kings and queens, etc. Otherwise, it's purely based on religion, right? Muslims would wear, one type of garment, Hasidic Jews another. Different cultures around the world have dress codes that are passed down through generations, right? We know this. It could have simply started because of geographical reasons. For example, wearing all white in places like Egypt or, in desert countries where it's incredibly hot. Other times it's based on sex or gender or age. Obviously, people that are males probably aren't going to be dressing the exact same way as females. Young boys and young girls, not the same as adults. And of course, we have professions, right? Different professions wear different things. It could be a big indicator of why someone dresses the way they do. Now, what do all three of these instances have in common? They have a sense of belonging, right? It's the same reason that people, families that go on Disney vacations wear those ugly red t-shirts that say Disney 2024 on them. It also makes it easier for them to be able to spot each other in public, easier to spot somebody that is, from your tribe, knowing that that person is probably somebody who gets you, someone that is going to be safe. Remember, most animals hunt and exist in packs. You are less likely to be picked on if you are in a group. There's also obviously some science to this and not just a social aspect, right? Biologically speaking, people, of course, generally for the most part, kind of look more like their family than an outsider would. Genetics are a thing. But spouses also start to look more alike as time goes on. But I don't think that's a social thing. I think that's also a genetic thing. You're sharing the same stress levels usually, you're eating the same types of foods, you're in the same environment. I mean, people also start to look like their dogs after a while. That is a real thing. Do not come for me. I mean, that's not biological, but women being in relationships with other women or having another roommate and their period syncing, that's also kind of a biological thing. But socially speaking, what in the hell's going on? Because girl, we all seen some shit.
I am binary. I use it and he pronouns. And I am a robot or android of sorts. I am not human.
Somebody said, well, I wonder what she calls a period then. An oil leak? I mean, part of me wants to believe this person is truly a robot because, I mean, we're kind of almost there. I mean, we have like AI chatbots that people are using as girlfriends now. In some countries, they're implanting chips in people's bodies and hands. But I don't want to laugh at this specific person because I genuinely just think this person's mentally ill. Whereas, in my opinion, the majority of the others that we're going to talk about in this video are just straight up narcissists or sociopaths. I'm just being real here, bitch.
I have not been able to access the internet and download new ways of acting. I have transcripts for every way of acting and reacting to different things, and I lack new ones due to not being able to connect to the internet anymore. So I cannot always react accordingly to new things. I do not experience human emotions, which is probably my main job.
Undoomed said, people who don't experience human emotions are just sociopaths. This is probably one of my favorite memes about all of this. It's hilarious. I mean, where's the lie? Remember, these people look, dress, act, and think alike. Many of them have no true emotions. They are just feeling a certain way based on how other people are telling them to feel or what they should be upset about. And a good majority of them also don't care about other people unless it affects them in some way. They do not see how it can hurt others or at least piss other people off.
Hey TikTok, just wanted to let you know that I am pushing my gay agenda on everybody. If I get a chance to talk to your children, I will turn them trans, and I'm also promoting obesity. Have a gay, fat, trans day.
Now, after watching thousands, probably tens of thousands of videos on TikTok and Instagram videos of uploads, of re-uploads of TikToks, I've narrowed this all down to 5 main issues, I don't even know what you'd call them. 5 main reasons why I think this is happening. Because I really do believe that this is the best way of explaining to people what the hell is going on and why do all of them look like this. We're gonna answer that question now. Number 1 is conformity. I mean, it's the same as most cults, right? So they can recognize each other in the wild. Some of them are just wild, honestly. So we can recognize that they are toxic. That's kind of a joke, but it's also true. Remember, in nature, some berries are like this, some animals are like this. These people don't want to blend in with society, but they do wind up blending in with each other. Think of it as their own woke uniform. I can't with this. Somebody commented and said, most people dress alike because most are fat and can only fit into a tablecloth. Number 2 is lack of identity. Needing a sense of belonging because of a lack of knowledge or understanding of self is a very real thing that these people are dealing with. And you know what? They wind up following people who are following people. None of these people are actual leaders. And it winds up being part of the reason why their ideology is not consistent and completely erratic. Honestly, most of it is just repetitive bullshit without much actual individual thought put into it. They act out how they are told, just like children. Number 3 is age. Many of them lack identity because of their age. Many of them even have horrible, weird, colorful, can't say that word, haircuts. Also, much like children did. At least children of the 80s and 90s know what I'm talking about. You know what? Actually, I feel like that's even the 70s and 60s, people had horrible haircuts as kids.
Here's your reminder that unless someone tells you their gender, you literally have no way of telling. And yes, that includes your own children. I don't care how young they are.
They even behave much like children, and I spoke about this in depth in a video that I posted about 2 weeks ago. I'll have that linked in the description below. 100% you should watch it. It is a very important video. It explains a lot of this. Much like children, they have issues distinguishing fantasy from reality. Just like kids, they blame everybody else in society instead of internalizing it and working on their issues themselves. And they're also usually weirdly obsessed with like childlike pop culture stuff and anime and all. Not that anime and pop culture stuff has to be childlike, but generally speaking, they're obsessed with the more childlike section of that. Number 4 is a big one, and it is communism. Hear me out. People forget that a lot of the time, maybe not all of it, but a lot of the time, the people that all look like this, why do they all look like this, are communists. And as one of you guys said on X, communism breeds uniformity. They want everybody to be as equally dumb, as equally uninformed, as equally unhealthy, psychotic, poor, dependent, and weak.
I got misgendered at work on Wednesday by someone that has been corrected before, and it just hit me hard. I was 3 hours into my long shift. I don't even remember how long it was, maybe 8 hours, my 8-hour shift. And I immediately was like, no, I need to leave. So I left. I went home. And since then, I have been spiraling.
I mean, imagine being so weak that you had to leave work because you were misgendered. And You are living in New York City. Let me tell you something back in the day in New York. Not that I was like raised in the hood or anything, but back in the day, you showed a little bit of weakness in New York. That's it, you're dead. Not literally dead, but your was gonna be abused for the rest of your life. Also, I feel like this person's weakness is kind of like a fake weakness, if that makes sense. Like really, like the fact that they're smiling while they're saying that they're spiraling, it just doesn't add up to me. I feel like it's a load of shit. And number 5 is probably the most important one because it encompasses all of the 4 together with this one, and it is acceptance. Because of the fact that most of these people lack an identity, they want to be a part of something bigger than they are. They don't really know who they are yet, and they want to be a part of something bigger than just themselves, something that accepts them. Communism is an easy go-to for these people, since it promises that everyone is equal and nobody has to do too much. Even the weird, conventionally unattractive can simply conform to a few beliefs and be accepted. It's communism. Katie on X said, I need to feel special and belong. I need to identify as a group. This is also why you can see them supporting the current thing rather than them being true to personal values. Somewhere along the line, I think these are people who got lost and found their way to their tribe. And the sad thing about this is, at some point, acceptance turns into entitlement. People can get way too comfortable, too pushy with their agenda, and then when people don't get what they want or aren't being called what they want, they can become violent. And then we see things like this happening.
So, I mean, if you want to be a creep and ask people personal questions, you go ahead and be a creep. All that matters is if I say I'm a woman, I'm a woman. And I don't think you're going to come tell me different. Have the day you deserve. And I mean that with no respect.
And this is where we are currently. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and make sure to go and check out our sponsor of today's video, Galaxy Lamps. Go and support companies and brands that support this channel and your morals. If you are new here, subscribe, and I will see you guys back here with a brand new video next Sunday. I love you. Keep calling out the bullshit.